Hey guys, my name is Mark, and on this video I'm going to show you how to move off and stop the car. So after you make sure you got your seatbelt on, make sure the car is secure, so handbrake's on, make sure it's in neutral. You can move this gear stick left and right to make sure it's in neutral, so that when you start the car it's not going to move forward. And in this car, in a lot of new cars now as well, you need to press the clutch all the way down and then turn the key for the engine to start. So turn the key all the way until you hear that the noise of the engine starting. And once you've done that, you don't need the clutch anymore. You can come off until you're ready to move off again. So now what you're going to do is prepare the car, which means getting into gear 1 and then getting it ready to move off. So to do that, you need to press the clutch all the way down again, like so. And then to get into gear 1, so you're just going to have your hand like this and position it like that. This is probably the best way to get the gear stick into the correct place. So keeping the clutch all the way down, push towards the right, towards the left, sorry, and then up to gear 1. So you don't need to do it with a lot of force. I mean, a lot of learners when they first start driving, they use lots of force to move the gear stick. You don't need to do that because it doesn't require much force. I'm just doing it just with like fingers to just show you how light it is, just show you. But obviously when you're doing it, you're going to use your hand properly and just push it to the left and then up gently until it's in place. And then now it's in gear, you're going to have to be very careful what you're doing with your left foot now, because the car is active now. If I bring the clutch up too fast, it's going to stall and it's going to go forward a bit as well. So what you're going to do is apply a bit of gas until you see this rev counter here is going between 1 and 2. That's the perfect position to be. So now I'm going to try to keep my gas very still now, because this is quite hard at first. Some people press too hard and then let go, or press too hard and then let go. So it's quite hard to get this just right. So don't worry if you don't get it right the first time. Just press it a bit until it gets like there. And then now I'm going to bring the clutch up really gently until the car's front lifts a tiny bit. So I've still got my gas on. I'll lift the clutch up just like that, so the car front dipped a tiny bit. Then I'm going to keep my clutch very still. Then I'll do my checks. So starting from my left shoulder, left mirror, main screen, rear view mirror, right mirror, over my right shoulder. I'll put a signal onto the right as well, and then I'm going to release my handbrake, keeping my feet still. I'm checking the right again, just make sure I'm keeping my feet still. I'm bringing up, I'm turning to the right slightly, checking the right mirror as well, and then bringing my clutch up slightly now, and then I can bring it up all the way, and I'm moving off. And then once I get to here, I can cancel my signal. And this is probably the scariest bit for most learners, because they don't know how to steer the car properly. But you don't add too much gas at first, because especially if you're not used to controlling the car. I'm barely touching the gas right now. I don't need the clutch anymore. It's all the way up now, so I don't really need it. But if you're new, you might want to keep your foot near it, because if you have it like over here somewhere, it's going to be difficult to remember to control the clutch with your left foot. But so you can leave it just on the side if you need to. So we're going to try the first stop now. So to stop, you want to check your center mirror first, and then the left mirror, and then signal left. I've already chosen a spot that I want to park in. So it's not this box here, it's the one after, but I'm going in nice and early so that I can get to that box when I'm already in position. And I'm just lining my car up, so I'm just getting the pavement just in the center of my windscreen there. Once I get to like around here, I can put my clutch all the way down and brake really gently. And now once I've stopped like this, I'm going to keep both feet still, because if I move now, there's a chance that the car could roll back. So first, before I do that, I'm going to put my handbrake on, put my gear into neutral. And then once I've done that, I'm going to bring my clutch up smoothly up and then off the brake as well. I don't want to bring up the clutch quickly in case I've still got it in gear, because if I've forgotten that it's in gear, if I bring it up too quickly, it's going to stall. But if it's slowly, you'll realize, and then you can stop it. Once I've done that, I can cancel my signal as well, and that's done. Okay, so let's try that again. So what's the first thing I got to do? I got to get the car prepared, which means getting into gear 1. So the engine's already on. I don't need to mess about with the key anymore, because it's already on. We didn't stall, so I don't need to turn the key on anymore. It's still on. What I need to do now is press the clutch all the way down. So don't press it halfway. Some people just press it like that and then try to move the gear. So if you do that, the gear won't move properly. It doesn't go into gear properly. Don't force it. It just means that your clutch is not down properly. So press it all the way down. Get into gear 1 with your palm like this, and then set a bit of gas. So like about that much, see that, and then bring the clutch just to the biting point, and you can see you can also use the center mirror as well. So when you add a bit of gas, then bring the clutch out, you see the car dip down a bit like so, and then that way you know you got your biting point. Once you got it there, don't lift up anymore, because if you bring up too high, there's a chance the car could move, and if you have it too high for too long, it will burn the clutch. So you want it just at the right point, and then you do your check. So starting with my left side, checking through there, checking through here, checking through the center mirror, through the main screen, through that right mirror, and then through this gap here as well. It's looking quite good, and there's quite a few people around here, so I'm just gonna signal, let people know. And I'm just checking my mirror. There's actually a car coming down. I can see him in there as well. So once it's gone past, I'll do one more check over my shoulders, make sure no one's coming, and then release the clutch, release handbrake. Still got my foot on the clutch at the biting point, and then once I get to like here, I can release it slowly and then straighten my wheel, turn a bit left to get the car straight, and then straighten up like that and cancel my signal. So you want to just keep it nice and slow at first. Don't be in a rush to go really quickly. You want to keep it nice and slow. When you're pulling over as well, you want to pick a nice spot from far away. So check your center mirror, left mirror. So already chosen, it's got quite a lot of space here we can pull up into. I'm going to signal left. So we've got a parking bay. What you don't want to do is block a driveway. So I'm going to still go towards the left. I can go past this driveway and then I'll start to slow down. So right now I've just got my foot over the clutch because I want to stop soon. Clutch all the way down because I'm in gear 1, and then brake really gently and come to a nice smooth stop. Once I've come to a full stop, I don't want to come off the controls yet because the car will move forward, and then I'll bring my handbrake up and into neutral and bring my clutch up smoothly and off the brake and cancel my signal. So when you're pulling over, you want to choose a spot first before you actually think about pulling over. And what you don't want to do is you don't want to block driveways. Don't stop by double yellow lines, red lines, bus stops, all those kind of things. So choose a good place to pull over. On your first lesson, you probably go somewhere quiet with your instructor anyway. Or if you're learning with your parents or a friend, definitely go somewhere quiet on your first lesson. Don't start on a busy road because it can be quite tricky and scary, especially if you're on a busy road. So go on a quiet road and it's going to be a lot easier for you. Okay, so we're going to try that again. So we'll start off by pressing the clutch all the way down, getting into gear 1, getting a biting point by setting a bit of gas. So it's important to get the biting point, especially when you're quite new as well, because like right now we're on a bit of a slope, and if I don't have a biting point, when I release the handbrake, the car is going to roll backwards. So to prevent that, what you want to do is have a bit of gas, biting point first of all, and then do your check. So checking through here, checking through there, over there. I can see there's a man in that van, so I'm just going to signal, let him know I'm coming out in case he decides to turn or something. So anytime there's anybody around that could benefit from your signal, you got to put it on. So I'm checking around still, and this looks like it's quite good. Release my handbrake, and I'm going to turn a bit towards the right. And once I get to like around here, I'm going to turn a bit more left. Then once I get here, I turn the steering wheel straight again. And then once we get moving, I don't need the clutch anymore. I can come off the clutch. But I'm still got my foot near it in case I need it anytime soon. Then when it comes to pulling over, we're gonna choose a place we're gonna pull over first. I'm gonna use that reference point for the pullover. Choose a place first, check my center mirror. There's a car behind me, but I'm not gonna worry about him too much. Check my left mirror, and then I'm gonna signal left, check and make sure there's no one on my side there. I'm gonna bring it in nice and gradually. A lot of learners turn too sharply. You wanna bring it nice and gradually in, and then I've got my foot near the clutch now as well. I'm just get my reference point there, and just gonna keep the car. Once I get my reference point, just gonna try keep it there by moving the steering wheel left, right, slightly. Once I get to where I want it to get to, I'm gonna put my clutch down and brake really gently. So a lot of learners here turn more left for some reason. You wanna keep it just at that point there, and then handbrake on, neutral, bring the clutch up smoothly off the brake and cancel your signal. So when you check your mirrors and you see cars behind you, don't be too scared of them. You just want to check that they're not too close and that they're not going to the left of you. Once you put your signal on, they will give you a bit of space or go around you from the right, but you want to check just to see what's going on before you do anything else. But for some reason, when these learners see a car behind them, especially on their first couple of lessons, they're like, oh my God, there's a car behind me, what should I do? Just signal and then you pull over safely. But in the first place, don't be scared that there's a car behind you. So a typical mistake learners make here is when they first start, they'll try to get the biting point, but nothing's happening when you bring the clutch up, or even with a bit of gas, nothing happens. And then they bring it all the way up like this, and still nothing's happening. If that's the case, if you feel that, it just means that you're not in gear. So what you want to do is just try again, put the clutch down, getting into gear 1, but don't bring the clutch up too high because it's gonna move off or it's gonna stall. What you want to do is still set a bit of gas and then bring it just to that point where you can feel it raising up. If you're hearing lots of noises in the car, like creaking noises, it means the clutch is too high. You want to bring it down. If the car's vibrating too much, definitely bring the clutch down because it's too high at that point and it's going to burn. What you want to do is bring it just to the point where it's trying to move, but the handbrake is holding it still. And then another mistake people make here is, well, they don't look around, they'll just go off. Very dangerous to do that, because you want to see who's around you first before you do anything else, before you move out. So you want to check from this way, check that way, over this side, through this mirror, over your right shoulder, signal. So you want to check this place last. Don't check over there last and then move off, because things could be happening here and then you check in here but then move off into something that's on the road. So what you want to do is just do a full 360 like that, over that side. Once it's clear, put your handbrake down, check over again if you need to, and then check this mirror one more time and bring the clutch up smoothly, and you're off. So once you do this a couple of times, you're going to want to get into gear 2 at some point. So once you get to like this sort of speed, the car's telling me to go into a higher gear. So we want to come off the gas fully, clutch all the way down, get into gear 2, bring the clutch up smoothly, and then back on the gas. So you're doing it like a seesaw: off the gas, clutch down, gear, and then off the clutch smoothly, back on the gas. And then don't forget that gear 2 is a lot faster than gear 1, so you need less gas, and you don't need the foot on the clutch, you don't need to be pressing it down, so you can just rest it on the side. When you're stopping in gear 2 as well, you're going to want to prepare a bit earlier and maybe put your clutch down a bit earlier as well. So we're going to pull over on the left, so I'm going to check my center mirror, left mirror, signal left. I'm going to pull over just after the speed bump, so I'm braking early just to bring my speed down because I'm going quite quick, and then clutch down from around here. So I'll press the clutch down quite early, because if I don't, the car will start to shake and then eventually stall. Using my reference point there, and once I get to like here, I can come to a full stop, bring it in, handbrake up, and go into neutral and cancel my signal. And notice that I actually stopped in gear 2. You can do that, you can stop in any gear you like, but there will be times where you might have to go into a lower gear. So let's say you're trying to squeeze into a tight spot, maybe there's cars parked and you're trying to pull in quite sharply, then you want to go into maybe gear 1. But if you're just stopping this and you got like this and you got lots of room like it is right now, you can use stop in gear 2, gear 3, doesn't really matter. And then just make sure you put your clutch down in time so that your car doesn't shake and then stall. Then after you stopped, then you can go back into neutral. Another mistake some learners make is, so they'll get the pedals in the right place, signal, but then they'll bring the clutch up too high, and then like that you'll stall. If that happens, don't panic too much. Just in this car, when you press the clutch down, normally it would restart, but right now it's not, so you can go into neutral and then it restarts. Or if it doesn't, just go into neutral, turn the engine off, and then turn the engine back on again. So don't worry, don't panic too much. You can even cancel your signal just so you can restart again. Even if this happens in your test, it's not really a massive deal. You'll get a fault for it, but if you just stay relaxed and then turn the engine off and restart it if you need to, and then you can just start the whole sequence again. So clutch down into gear 1, bearing in mind what you just happened. So you stalled because you brought the clutch up too high, so you have that in your head, and you're going to try to do it properly and then put your signal on. So this time I'm just going to bring the clutch up smoothly, turning a bit to the right. Once I get to like around here, straightening up, and then bringing my clutch up all the way. Then once I build up enough speed, off the gas, clutch down, gear 2, bring the clutch up smoothly, and then back on the gas. So you don't want to do it in a way that if you bring up the clutch too fast, even when you change your gears, you're going to feel it in the car. It's going to be really jerky. So the smoother you are with the controls, especially with the clutch, the smoother the drive will be. On your first couple of lessons, it's going to be scary when it gets to like tight spaces like this, but you will get used to it, so don't worry. And if there's a car coming as well, if you're not sure about how big the car is, that comes with practice, so don't worry too much about that. And then we're going to pull up on the left again, so I'm going to check my center mirror. There's a car right behind me, check my left mirror. I'll signal to let them know that I'm pulling over, and then I'm just going to keep checking my left mirror and make sure there's no cyclists there. So I'm bringing my car in nice and gradually, braking early, and then once I get to like around here, I put my clutch down, use my reference point, coming to a full stop, handbrake on, neutral, clutch up, off the brake, cancel my signal. So some people get used to just moving off using the clutch, so I'm going to show you what I mean. So getting into gear 1, looking around, making sure it's safe. There is a car coming, but I think it's parking up. Yeah, it's turning around. And then they'll just move off just using the clutch. Now this is not a great habit, because It might work sometimes, but you're more likely to stall that way, especially if you're driving an older car with an older clutch. In diesel cars, it's gonna work pretty much most of the time, but in most cars, it won't work. And especially if you got like lots of weight in the car, you got your friends in the car, or you're going up a hill, that technique won't work. So it's best to just use your gas as well and get used to using that sort of technique. That way, when you do move off, you can drive any car and it's not going to be a struggle for you.